All wings report in.
HouseDog, standing by.
Mother Goose, standing by.
Lowtech Tuck, standing by.
Lock S foils in attack position. Animal Squadron ready for battle.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Animal Squadron podcast. You are here with your hairiest host, Mother Goose.
And also Lowtech Tuck. Sorry for interrupting.
Shame. Banished. Go out the airlock.
No. It's my ship, too. We're going to duke it out now.
Okay, this is episode 5, right?
Yep, episode 5.
Okay, cool. Episode 5. Last week was Fallen Jedi.
Yep, literally and figuratively.
Literally and figuratively. Sorry, I had a brain fart where I was looking at our episodes and I was like, wait, that says episode 4. Shouldn't we be talking about episode 6 today? Really freaked me out.
Yeah, you're just too pumped, man, for all the episodes to come out.
I'm just too pumped. Yeah, we're recording this Tuesday, 3 hours before episode 6 comes out. I am so hyped.
Heck yeah.
This one is Shadow Warrior. There it is.
Shadow Warrior.
So I think today, I'm pretty sure both of us are feeling pretty hyped about this episode.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, honestly, I've watched it, I think, 3 times because I feel like there's so much to talk about.
Yes, I've watched it twice now. I feel that.
Yeah, it's just been too good.
I have one major complaint I want to talk about.
Okay, hit me with it.
So, Mon Mothma tells Hera, hey, you need to come back. And she specifically says, do you have any evidence, right? She's going before some sort of, jury, some sort of, military tribunal, because she disobeyed orders, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be so mad if she's like, I have no evidence, because they have footage of Balin attacking the New Republic ships and freeing Morgan. They have Huang's scans from, I want to say, episode 4, where he scanned the hyperspace ring. Mm-hmm. And then this will be used against her, but it is also proof that there was Imperial activity. 2 of the X-Wings got blown up.
Yeah.
There is literally so much proof that they have.
But also, Hera doesn't she say she doesn't have evidence?
Yeah, yes, and that's why I'm worried. She said, no, I don't have any evidence.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to chalk that up maybe to just, they're just trying to get the story to go, and,
yeah,
but I mean, what are they going to do to Hera? What are you going to fire her? No. I mean, and even if you do, she's not going to stop helping the rebellion just because you fired her.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. And maybe it's just something I'm stressing myself out over, and it's, they will present the evidence. I want Thrawn to be a big threat, regardless of if our heroes do everything I can. I think, or everything they can. I think that makes him a bigger threat, knowing that, man, they just did everything they could and they still couldn't beat him. It's less satisfying when it's oh, the villain won, but if they'd done X, Y, and Z, he probably wouldn't have.
Yeah, that's fair, but also I think the direction they're going is, I think Filoni's trying to paint a picture of the New Republic is broken, and they don't even know that they're broken, and that's why they eventually fail. Yeah. And so I think that's kind of more what this scene is meant to do, because I think it's going to build toward some sort of surprise attack. I think that's how Thrawn's going to come, is through a surprise attack that Hera has been warning them about the whole time, and they were just too dumb to listen to her. That's kind of what I think.
Yes, which I totally I will be 100% okay if she presents the evidence and the New Republic is still yeah, that's not enough evidence, right? I could see that happening. I just don't want Hera to be dumb, because Hera knows all this stuff. She knows she has the evidence.
Yeah, And also, she has told them most of it at this point. That's the other thing, too.
Yeah,
So,
really the big thing is Huang's scan, which he may or may not have given her before he left.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I have a feeling that what it's going to build to is that Hera won't have any evidence, and so they're going to dismiss her for it. And that's why I think, like, honestly, in my opinion, this scene, I think, works for the episode and for the show. I think it does work for the show. Yeah.
For this episode, yes, I totally agree. I'm kind of sitting nervously on what this next episode's going to be like.
Yeah. Yeah, but also I think that's part of the fun part. We get to find out.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, shall we get into the actual show?
Let's do it.
These opening shots are just so beautiful. I love, like, after the, like, crazy ending of last time, that it takes a second to just, like, establish where we are and not rush into the whole, like, Anakin Ahsoka thing.
Yeah, I like that too. I like how they didn't open with that.
Mm-hmm. I was so torn because I was like, oh, the scenery is so beautiful, but also show me Anakin.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think it worked well. It let it breathe a little bit before we got into all the fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess we'll just talk about this scene real quick. Hera comes out and she's scanning, she's looking, seeing what's going on. And she sees our boy Hu Yang, and we get a heartbreaking line. I told them to stay together. Once again, it's almost like Hu Yang is 25,000 years old, and you should have listened to him.
Honestly, right?
Our man's, he's got experience.
This scene just broke my heart.
Yeah, it did me too. And also it makes you think about, you know, even though he's a robot, and I don't believe that if he does feel feelings, that he feels feelings in the same way that like a human would.
Yeah.
But I will say I could see him having the same reaction to like an Order 66 kind of thing where, you know, I think he can feel that people have failed, and they failed in a way that's bad. And I mean, I think Hu Yang is capable of being sad also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, sorry, bestie, you kind of teed me right up. He has the ability to be sad. He's a sentient creature.
Or is he programmed to be able to feel sadness?
I don't know. After 25,000 years, I think he genuinely is sad, regardless of programming or if it's or not. Those feelings are real, and I think that, you know, goes to him feeling, like, to him being sentient. It reminds me a lot of E2 Emo in Andor, after, what's her name, Marva, I think, dies.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I don't want to go, I just want Marva. You can't tell me that's not a thinking thing.
I'm not saying that, I mean, non-sentience doesn't mean that he can't think.
I think,
you know what
therefore
I mean?
I am.
That's not true.
I think, therefore I am.
They're metal, Elijah. I'm sorry, dude.
And they're sad, and when they're sad, I'm sad.
Dude, like, computers can get sad. That doesn't mean they're sentient. Is AI sentient? Real talk?
I don't think yet. I don't think yet, but I think we're close. I think we're on the verge.
No, literally it's in the name, artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be sentient if it's artificial. If it's given to you, like you can't be artificially sentient.
Did God not give us our sentience? Did God not give us our free will?
He did, but also we have souls and we're human. We're not computers.
Okay. We need to table this. I promise, audience, we will do a full episode where we debate this. We'll wait till HouseDog's here. Our boy the Suited Bird said he wants to come on. It'll be a 2v2. It'll be great.
I like it.
But no. Anything else on this scene before we move forward?
Not really. I mean, I think Hu Yang, that's kind of the part that I cared about the most.
Yeah, I really like the detail that I think got me most is they made it look like his eyes were kind of squinting, which made him look just so much more sad.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then also, I guess as far as the gang that's here, it's Hera, Carson, and Jason, right?
Yeah. And our boy Chop.
Oh yeah, I can't forget Chop.
Are we ready to talk about Annie and Ahsoka?
Oh yeah.
Gotcha. I love his "you got old" line.
Yeah, I do too. It's also just such an Anakin thing, like especially what it reminds me of is just the Anakin who would say something like, "General Grievous, you're shorter than I expected," or just something. It's just an Anakin thing to say. I just like it.
Yeah, for sure. This scene was just so beautifully shot. Like, the actors did amazing. The camera work was amazing. The world between worlds looks amazing. Just peak Star Wars, honestly.
Yeah, and the world between worlds, really, I was kind of expecting, it to look not as good as it does in animation. But no, I mean, if anything, I'd say it looks better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It looks more like, I think there are more lines in the animation, like the actual portals that we see and stuff, but it looks so much more detailed. Like, it's more minimalist, but there's more detail in what we actually see, if that makes sense.
Oh, for the live action.
Yeah,
I agree. Like, I mean, if you just look at the bridge versus the bridge in Rebels.
Yeah.
I mean, you just the waviness of the light inside the bridge just looks really good in live action.
Mm-hmm.
And so do the stars. Like, the stars don't look like just little white dots. Like, they actually look like they're radiating light.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the waviness. The waviness of their, around their feet, every step they take, it feels like there's a reaction from the bridge, and I love that so much.
Yeah, I mean, it almost looks like they're stepping in water, which, I mean, I just think is fantastic.
Yeah. I've got, I think, one line here I wanted to point out, and that is that I've heard that before when Ahsoka says she wouldn't fight Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
Just a great callback to Return of the Jedi and Luke's line.
Yep.
I know.
And then also,
literally.
Oh wait, never mind.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I'm wrong. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know literally every Star Wars podcast and YouTuber has pointed this out already, but it's still just so cool.
Yeah, and just what good writing, man. What good writing.
And I don't know if you saw, but there was a little minute and a half, just kind of documentary thing that Star Wars put out over this last episode, and specifically that line. There's Hayden Christensen and Dave Filoni, they showed some footage of them talking about it, and it was just great to see.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I will say this part. Whenever Anakin says, "I'm here to finish your training," as we go through that, I mean, I really think that's true through this entire next few scenes. I really think the whole point of bouncing back between light and dark is meant to teach Ahsoka how to balance the Force.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome.
And I think it also is a he's trying, because he says very early on, he's like, you essentially everything I am, I've given to you, or I've taught to you, or I can't remember the exact line, and I feel like it was him trying to help teach her how to not fall to the dark side as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he was trying to teach her balance, and in that, because with balance you can't fall to either side if you're balanced.
Yeah, for sure. Their fight here was just phenomenal. I literally was in shock how well this was choreographed.
Yeah, also, I will just say bravo to Hayden Christensen for being able to move just like episode 3 Anakin.
Yeah, he's still got it.
Yeah, and he's like, what? Is he 50 now? Probably close to 50.
I think he was early 20s when episode 2 came out. So
Okay, I
yeah,
guess
I'd
40.
say 40s, maybe 50. I might be a little wrong on his age.
Yeah. But even still, I mean, dude, 40 and moving like that, good for him, man. Good for
I
him.
hope we're moving like that when we're that age.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, hopefully we will. I mean, like, as long as we keep ourselves in shape.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we probably
sure.
will. But, I mean, also, I've never been able to move like that. I will say, I've never been that
Yeah,
athletic.
that is true. Me
like,
neither.
Either way, unless a miracle
He's
happens,
outdoing
I
us.
don't think I'll ever move like him anyway, but...
He's outdoing us in his 40s while we're in the prime of our life right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So next we have the scene where Carson and Hera are talking, and Jason first hears the lightsabers, which I think this is our first... I'm pretty sure we all knew Jason was going to be Force sensitive, but I believe this is the first time we actually get to see him using or connecting with the Force.
Yeah, I think I will say the only argument against that I have is last episode, that line that we were talking about that like we both didn't like, but the I have a bad feeling thing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that might have been him
The
feeling
Force.
something through the Force.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe that in retrospect was what was meant by that line.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so. Because I still don't really like the line. But anyways, yeah, we'll continue.
Yeah. I agree. I don't really have much on this. I really like the fact that like they're going into what George set up with that everyone has a connection to the Force, just some people's connection is stronger, and it's also something you can train over time. The fact that Jason was able to point it out and help his mother connect to the Force here and hear the lightsabers as well, I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. And I will say, as far as feeling through the Force, I just think it's really cool that his first time we see him, he does something that deep.
Yeah.
And so honestly, I think Jason's probably going to be pretty powerful.
Yeah, my mom and I were talking about this, and she was asking me, she's like, "Oh, do you think that Jason will become Ahsoka's next student?" And I was like, maybe, as the line gets passed down, Jason might be Sabine's student here in a few years. And then after we had that conversation, I realized, no, I bet Jason is going to be Ezra's student.
Oh, yeah, I mean, presumably as long as Ezra makes
Is
it
alive
out.
and
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. I just think that would be so poetic. Like if he is Ezra's student, and he learns from the man his father taught.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think that'd be awesome.
And talking lineage-wise, we would have Jason, maybe not, but for sure we have Ezra, Kanan's master, whose name I can't remember. I think it starts with a P. We see
She's
her
a
in
woman.
Bad Batch.
Yep.
Yeah. And then her master was Mace Windu.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Another just really cool lineage of Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Let's see. But I think that's really everything I have for this scene before we get on to the
Oh, actually with Anakin, going back, I guess, a second.
Oh,
Did
yeah,
you-
yeah.
In Anakin and Ahsoka's fight, did you notice that he does a move like specifically from he and Obi-Wan's fight in Revenge of the Sith?
No, I didn't. Which one?
It's whenever he is taking a step and she's backing away, and then he flips behind his back.
Oh, sick.
Like,
Yep,
I was like,
we
I've
love
seen
the,
that before.
the backflip, the black back spin.
Yep, I love it.
Well, great. I think onto this next one, we have a little more of them fighting in the World Between Worlds. The only thing I have is when she kicks Anakin in the face and she's like, I guess you don't have anything to teach me. Like, that is just like prime cocky Ahsoka, and I really like it.
Yeah, and then also Prime Anakin, he says, I haven't taught you everything yet, and then he just cuts the bridge. It's like, yep, got her.
Yeah.
Let's run it again. You failed.
But I don't think I have anything else in this specific chunk of their fight before we get to the next kind of big section, which I want to dive in to talk about what maybe this actually is. But do you have anything on the like actual fighting?
Nope.
Great. So there's been a lot of debate online, and I am very excited to hear your thoughts, because some people think this is just a flashback of what happened, and other people, myself included, believe that this is a Force vision, and it's not exactly what happened moment for moment. It's more of like a retelling with like current Anakin and current Ahsoka. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So actually, I'll just give you my theory.
Yeah.
I believe it's a Force vision, personally. And the reason I say that is because, yes, they are their young selves in the Clone Wars, but Ahsoka remembers everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, for instance, she says, this is one of our first missions. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
And, like, why would a 15-year-old say that? Like, that line wouldn't
Exactly.
make any sense unless it is a Force vision.
Right.
And I believe with Force visions that, again, with Anakin's line earlier of, I'm here to finish your training, that also is part of why it makes sense that it's a Force vision instead of just a reliving. Because if you're just remembering, that might not teach you anything.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if
agree.
you're walking through the events again, then it's a Force vision. And then also with the Force vision too, I think another clear sign is that he keeps turning into Vader. Like, obviously that didn't happen in the memory, and obviously 15-year-old Ahsoka didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And it really bothered me at first, because I was like, this isn't how Ahsoka acted during the Clone Wars. And then I was like, wait, because it's not Clone Wars Ahsoka. It's it's New Republic Ahsoka in Clone Wars Ahsoka's body.
Yeah, it's older Ahsoka, but the other thing that's interesting is it is young Anakin, though.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
What do you mean by that?
Like, he doesn't know that it's a vision when they're on Geonosis. Like, he's acting like himself when he was young.
Yeah.
But also, he's dead and he's a Force ghost, and he can just exist whenever he wants to exist.
Right.
So,
yeah, that Anakin here, I wasn't entirely sure. I was like, this is either like young Anakin or this is current Anakin, and he's just pretending like he doesn't know.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, that's true,
his
too.
dialogue was just vague enough. I was like, okay, that could be current Anakin trying to teach her something.
Yeah. Or just through the Force, that specific time was meant to teach her something, and so that's why she goes back.
Yeah, which
As herself.
right now, this is Battle of Ryloth, which I think is a really great battle to show off, because we talked about this in our Ahsoka episode. I believe this is the battle where she disobeys orders and gets like thousands of people killed.
Mm-hmm. Well, because her line later of, I got them killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's... Yeah.
Another small thing that makes me think, though, that this is a Force vision and not just a flashback is that she has that somber moment where she sits with the clone, which maybe could be her having some guilt from what just happened in the space battle. But But I really think that, again, that this is current day Ahsoka because she cares about the clones way more than Clone Wars Ahsoka did. At least like first couple seasons, you know?
Oh yeah, well, because first couple seasons she was 15. She was a kid.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, exactly.
kids don't care as much as adults do. You know, like as far as stuff like that. I mean, that'd be a lot easier for a kid just to be like, oh, they're just soldiers, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's Force Vision 100%. I don't think that it's a memory.
Yeah. And then I think Anakin's shoulder pauldrons felt a little small to me. How did you feel? Like, I loved his fit, but the shoulder pauldrons, I wish they had just been a little bigger.
Actually, you know, the pauldrons, they're small, but also they're small in Clone Wars, too.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think in Clone Wars they go over his shoulder pads, and here they went under, which is such a small, stupid detail, but it bothers me so much.
I thought we were talking about the other way. Yeah, I thought we were talking about the other way, like how they only cover, like, his shoulder. They don't come down to his bicep at all, like, just the shoulder. That's what I thought you were talking about.
No,
but,
sorry.
Okay, the other way, they're short.
Again, super tiny detail, should not matter at all, but it matters to me.
Yeah.
And then we get live action Rex too. What did you think of that?
I thought it was awesome. And also I love how I mean, I think he did anyway. I don't know if it's D. Bradley Baker or Tamora Morrison who voiced it.
It was Tamora Morrison.
That's awesome. I love that very much.
Same.
Yeah, I thought it was at the start, and then I was like, oh, I guess, you know, D. Bradley Baker's been doing it long enough where he could probably fake it pretty good, but
yeah,
it was just very authentic sounding, and so I'm very glad that it was Tamora Morrison. Yeah.
Same. Let's see. I think that's all I wanted to point out from this scene. Did you have anything else before we switch back to Hera?
No, other than I will just vaguely say real quick, I like how in every sequence of this Force Vision, her lightsabers are correct.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I like that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
I like
you
that
know what? I'm so glad you brought it up because I was complaining about how I really don't like her first lightsabers, that they're just kind of a tube. I think they looked way better in live action.
Yeah, I think so too. I think also with Clone Wars, like, well, especially the Clone Wars movie, I mean, they didn't really know if it was going to go anywhere, so, like, why waste the money of creating, like, really cool-looking lightsabers, you know?
Yeah,
like, why waste the animation money? Whereas, like, here, it obviously already worked out, so...
Yeah.
Give her the cool lightsabers. Oh, I will say, too, this actress, I think, does a really good job.
Yeah. Which we can talk about this here because I don't think it's too important to the Battle of Mandalore section. I think she did really, really good as Battle of Ryloth Ahsoka because she was 14 years old at that age. Mm-hmm. But she's 17 during the Battle of Mandalore, and she looks almost like, she had a different outfit, but age-wise, she looks almost exactly the same. And that felt a little weird, but I just chopped that up to, it's a Force Vision, it doesn't matter. And
also, I mean, like, what? Are you going to have, like, 3 different people play Ahsoka for, like, a 5-minute scene? Like, that just seems kind of silly.
It's probably much cheaper to use the same person.
Yeah, but I think, like, the Siege of Mandalore part, like, I think she does still do a good job, but we'll get into that later. Yeah, tell me about Hera.
For sure. Hera, I don't really have anything too crazy here. I feel like there was something else for Battle of Ryloth. If I think about it, I'll bring it up later. As soon as I started talking about Ahsoka's age, I was like, don't forget, you have this one last thing you want to talk about. It's gone.
And it's gone.
So really, this scene is just them looking for Ahsoka over the water. A couple lines I wanted to point out is Carson was like, hey, just so you know, we're going to run up our fuel reserves if we keep doing this. And Hera was like, thank you. I appreciate that you're willing to do that.
I like that. That's awesome.
Me too. And then Hera asks Hu Yang about Anakin, and he just says he was intense.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is, I mean, if you were to use one word about Anakin, it probably was the right one.
Also, too, I mean, with Hu Yang just being alive so long and seeing so many Jedi over the years, I bet, like, intense from Hu Yang's perspective is not a light comment. Like, I don't think he makes that comment lightly. Like, I think he genuinely means it, like, probably that Anakin was probably the most intense and stubborn little Jedi he ever saw in his life, Hu Yang.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure he knows that Anakin became Darth Vader.
At the very least, Ahsoka told him.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty possible that he may have either been there for Order 66 or came across recordings later, or I think he knows. I think he for sure knows and knew pretty soon. Mm-hmm. On like Operation Nightfall. I mean, I would think he knew that.
Yeah. But really that's all I have for this scene. Did you have anything else?
This isn't where they fly low, right? This is just where they start sweeping the water.
Yeah, they are flying low. Oh, you know what? I think this is the scene where Jason says, "Get as get as low as you can."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she just goes, "Okay."
Yeah,
and Hu Yang's obviously uncomfortable, which I like too. He's like, ugh.
Yeah. Which, I mean, my man, your spaceship survives in space. A little water won't hurt it.
Yeah, and also, I mean, we know from Bad Batch anyway that the ships are somewhat sealed from water too. I mean, like,
yeah,
like it's not anything to be too afraid of.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm sure Hu Yang's waterproof. Also, I'm very sure.
That is true. Yeah.
Yep.
But no, did you have anything specific you wanted to point out about them going low?
No, I just was trying to get an idea for where they are. Oh, and then also, I mean, this is the part too then that it was kind of weird watching it, but Chopper is actually the one who tells them the direction to go.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I thought that was interesting. I don't know if Jason was figuring it out and then Chopper was able to figure it out based off of him.
Mm-hmm.
Or if Ahsoka has like some sort of chip on her that Chopper can pick up, or I don't know. I just thought I don't think Chopper's force sensitive. I will say.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
But anyway, I just thought it was interesting. I was like, that's kind of an interesting way to play that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like Jason's force sensitivity kind of aiming Chopper's scanner. Like, Jason's hey, scan over in that direction.
Yeah, and then Chopper's like, oh, got it. Yep.
Yeah. Great. So we've Battle of Mandalore. Honestly, I loved how the Mandalorians looked. It looked almost like it was the Clone Wars animation for a second. Yeah,
like how blocky their armor is, like almost looked just about perfect. And then also again, Ahsoka's lightsabers, man. Those are exactly like they are in the Clone Wars, like in every way.
The colors were correct. Like, she started running out, and she had the two blue lightsabers, and I was like, she didn't get these to the Battle of Mandalore. And then I was like, wait, this is the Battle of Mandalore.
Yep, I thought it was awesome. And then this is... Wait, no, we don't see Rex here. But we do see... Isn't this where they have the orange helmets?
Yes, some of them have the orange helmets, and I think we do see Rex for a second here.
Oh, we see the back of his head, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, real quick.
So a couple lines from here that I really wanted to point out is another reason I think this is a forced vision and not flashback is the fact that, like, Anakin and Ahsoka have, like, a full conversation here where he's like, I don't remember this, and she's like, yeah, this is after we parted ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a force vision. I think that's just a fact, to be honest with you. Yeah. I'm sorry,
And
people who
then-
think it's a memory, but I think you're wrong.
Sorry,
I'm
besties.
sorry. Yeah.
I also wanted to point out the line where Ahsoka tells Anakin, "Hey, you're dangerous," and he's like, "Is this what this is about?" And then kind of changes the subject, like he doesn't want to talk about the Vader side of him yet.
Yep. Yeah, but one thing that I think is interesting though is I think he doesn't want to yet. I think that was a great way to say that. Like, it's not that he doesn't want to talk about it ever, because he's gonna talk about it in a few seconds. But
Right.
But yeah, no, I think that was a really good setup to what happens next. Also with the Ryloth thing, I know I mentioned it very quickly, but one thing you may have wanted to talk about, I'm just trying to help you remember what you wanted to talk about.
I appreciate it.
But Anakin walking off into the dust cloud, and then he turns into Vader as he's walking.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you notice their walks change?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was wonderful. Like, it was like he's walking as Anakin, and then all of a sudden he walks as Vader, and he stands up straighter, and like his stride changes and stuff. Oh man, I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I think really that's all I have for Battle of Mandalore. Do you have anything else here?
Well, in the Mandalore thing, this is where he decides to talk about Vader again.
Yeah, he just like kicks her out of the Force vision. Yeah.
But doesn't he say something before that?
Here, you talk about it, and I'll bring the scene up.
Okay, so he says something, and then he turns around and he ignites his red lightsaber and starts to fight her. And then she ignites her blue lightsabers just in time, and she's just parrying his attacks, kind of. And he's just absolutely fighting like Vader would. I will say, I love how, with the choreography of these scenes, how every time Anakin changes into Vader, his character changes, his fighting style changes, like everything changes. And I love that. I also think, too, that's why Hayden Christensen, I think everyone who doubted him whenever the prequels came out is wrong.
Yeah.
Because in order to change your character like that, you have to be a good actor.
Yes,
you have 100%. To be able to play multiple characters like that. And also characters that were originally played by other actors. And then you can go back and play them perfectly. I'm sorry. I mean, Hayden Christensen's a good actor. You just can't. You can't say otherwise anymore.
Yes, for sure. So the line you're thinking of is he says, "I gave you a choice: live," and then he ignites his red lightsaber, "or die."
And then whenever he says "or die," you can hear Darth Vader in the background say it too. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Ahsoka says no, and Anakin says incorrect, and then they start fighting.
Yep. Yeah, but as far as the choreography goes, I just love how much heavier his style got and how much slower it got, and he's just giving her just heavy attacks like Vader. He's not doing any more Anakin flurries.
Yes, what he is doing is he did another one of his Obi-Wan... Sorry, I was watching as you were talking. He did another one of his Obi-Wan moves where Ahsoka swings her saber like towards the front of him, he blocks it, and immediately goes to cover his back because he knows she's going for a back swing with her other saber.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like he trained her or something.
It's almost like he trained her or something.
Weird.
And then nothing crazy happens. He kicks her straight out, and then I think we get my favorite shot as he's walking out of the smoke, and he transitions between Anakin and Vader.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man, I loved it.
Good.
I could watch these visions
Star Wars.
just like several more times. I mean, it's just amazing. Yeah. But again, and then they start fighting, and then he continues fighting like Vader, which I really enjoyed. Just the difference of how much the choreography changes when you watch it back to back.
So this fight was absolutely phenomenal, but I wanted to ask, do you think he was holding back a little bit? Or do you think he was going all out to kill her.
I don't think he was trying to kill her because he came there from
To
the
save
Force,
her, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, and to teach her something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think. Obviously, I don't think he's trying to kill her, and then also too, I don't think that he's Vader anymore. I mean, he brought balance to the Force and died.
Yeah.
So he's now both Anakin and Vader.
Right.
And I think that's more of what the scene's trying to show, is that it is both Anakin and Vader, but he's not trying to kill her. He's trying to teach her.
Right. So I think he was holding back just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think so too, because in all honesty, Prime Vader versus like young Ahsoka, I don't really think that she would have stood a chance, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But okay, so you brought up the Anakin is Anakin and Vader. He's the balance. I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he is now the new Mortis God? He's completed his journey and replaced the Father.
I do. Yeah. And the reason I say that is also that's what the Father prophesies will happen to Anakin. He tells Anakin that. And so also too, with the Mortis gods existing throughout time, I don't know if they're like I don't know if they exist outside of time.
Right.
You know, but I mean, they at least exist in time, and they do appear to know everything and be kind of not omnipresent, but like all-knowing, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I think the Father was telling Anakin that that's what's going to happen because he already saw it happen. Like, it's already the truth.
It's been done. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I think Anakin bringing balance to the Force is basically his great feat to earn that. Like, it's like his Herculean feat.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yep.
No, I've been really thinking about this. I don't know if you've seen it. I wish I know who made this. I don't, and I'm sorry, but there is a really fantastic piece of fan art where it's the Mortis gods mural from Rebels, but instead of the actual Mortis gods, Anakin is sitting in where the Father is, and he's half Anakin, half Vader. Mm-hmm. And then the daughter is Ahsoka, and the son is Starkiller.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw that too.
It's one of my favorite pieces of Star Wars fan art.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, that is a good point too. I do believe another thing that Ahsoka is going to be important for is, I mean, we do know that the daughter spot is empty.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me if that's who's going to fill it when she dies. Because like we've talked about so many times, she embodies the light side, and she was saved by the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so I could see her being the next Mortis god for sure.
Yeah. Which I'm very curious, like, who they'll bring, because I would love for it to be Starkiller. It would be so poetic if they brought him into live action and he fills that role. I've also heard theories, and I'm so sorry, I don't remember whose theory this was, but that it might end up being Ezra. That Ezra may have fallen to the dark side over these years, what is it, like, I want to say 9 years? Maybe 10?
Yeah. I mean, I could entertain that he falls to the dark side. I just don't know if he embodies the dark side enough to be the son. The only person that I could see being the son, honestly, is someone who's like Sidious level.
Yeah. Which
embodying
that's my problem.
The dark side. Yeah.
That's my problem with Starkiller, because like Starkiller, it would be poetic being both of Anakin's apprentices, but I think it's not canon anymore, but when it was canon, the canon ending was the light side ending, where he dies fighting Vader and Sidious, and he saves the rebels, and becomes like his family crest becomes the symbol that the rebels use, like he dies on the light side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and actually, you know what? You know another person who could be the son that I could buy, honestly? And I hate that I'm saying this because I hate these movies so much, but Kylo wouldn't be a bad choice.
Kylo wouldn't be a bad choice.
The reason I say that is because of his lineage, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Being a true Skywalker.
Yeah.
And then also with him trying so hard to emulate Vader.
Mm-hmm.
And then also to how he turns to the dark side, and then also how he dies having been redeemed.
Yeah.
I mean, because I do think a Mortis God, I don't think you can die a Sith and be a Mortis God, maybe.
Oh,
and the reason I say that is because
one, yeah.
Sith don't get to exist individually.
Mm-hmm.
They can only haunt things. Like, they're basically just ghosts.
Yeah.
Whereas Anakin, and then also I'm sure Ahsoka will too, and Obi-Wan and Yoda, they have figured out how to exist individually. And I think that
right.
that's kind of the only candidates, I think, available. So,
yeah.
You know what? Like, in talking about it, I could see it being Kylo.
Yeah, and, like, that was, I think, one of my big complaints about the sequel trilogy is I really wanted it to focus more on Anakin's legacy, which it kind of did. It focused on Vader's legacy, but I really wanted there to be this conversation on, was Anakin... Was he Anakin? Was he Vader? Was he light side? Was he dark? And maybe we could get that still, you know. But instead of it being like two of his grandchildren, it's Ahsoka and Kylo.
Mm-hmm. And then also, too, I think... Because I do think with the Mortis gods, the son isn't necessary... I mean, he embodies the dark side, yes. But he's not necessarily evil, either.
Right. It wasn't really till, like... the like very end that he kind of started doing evil things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then also I think too it makes sense just from a symbolic standpoint because literally Kylo is a son of Vader.
Yeah.
And I think that would be poetic.
So one final question.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind, I forgot.
Okay.
Literally, I'm sorry. As I was asking, it slipped my mind. Oh, wait. No, sorry. I remember. Okay. Am I crazy? But because, like, a lot of the Star Wars fandom keeps, like, saying, oh, they could bring the sun back in this project, or they could bring the sun back in this project. Like, I remember they wanted to bring back the sun in Episode 9. There were a lot of people were theorizing that the sun would be in this episode. I thought he died. Didn't he die in the Mortis arc?
No. I don't think he does die, actually, now that I think about it.
Because Anakin stabs him with his lightsaber, and the father gives this ominous line of, like, without my power, he won't be able to, like, do anything, or he won't be able to live without it, or something like that.
I forgot Anakin stabbed him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because also, isn't that why the father dies? Is because both children are dead?
Maybe. Well, so...
I know he gets stabbed by the son. I know that.
Right, he gets stabbed with the Mortis blade.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I'm not entirely sure he's still alive.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's been long enough, man. I'm not sure.
Well, audience, don't worry. I know we're only less than halfway through the episode right now, and we're 50 minutes in. But I promise the second half won't be. There's not as much to talk about.
Yeah, it speeds up real quick. And really, just to finish off the Anakin and Ahsoka thing. I mean, because I don't really have much more.
Yeah, I've got like one or two notes here, I think. But go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead because mine's more of a question. So go ahead.
Oh, great. I wanted to point out Ahsoka's Sith eyes for just a second. when she's like quote unquote won the fight and like has a chance to kill him, and then she, stops, and then like Anakin Sith Eyes goes away and he kind of smirks. Like, I love that moment.
Yep. And also, I think that's when he's like, I have taught her something. Like, we're good. We're good to go. She's good to go back.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree. So what was your question, my friend?
Hang on. let me oh, okay.
It's getting us both.
What do you think Anakin was trying to teach her?
A couple things. I think it was one that you need to learn to be able to let people go, because that was like the main thing that on why Anakin fell to the dark side, was that he couldn't let people go. 2, I think it was the whole temptation to fall to the dark side, which was kind of tied into that. And 3, I kind of think this was her Jedi trial.
Yeah, and then also I think part of this too was about learning to forgive Anakin too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like learning to not let him falling hurt you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point.
Like I think it was kind of like a visit for her to like learn to forgive him.
Because I think to forgive him, but also to forgive herself. Because I think she's held a lot of regret, thinking that, man, maybe if I hadn't left Anakin, he wouldn't have fallen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. That's kind of what I was thinking, but maybe all 3.
Hell yeah.
Probably all 3. Honestly, no one's Star Wars, and there's probably a 4th one that we aren't even thinking of, but
probably. I think it's layered, and I think that's what Dave Filoni does best. Yeah, I think that's literally everything I have for their fight, and I've got like 6 more notes in total.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of there too.
So we find Ahsoka. She wakes up in the water. I 100% believe that she had like some sort of force bubble around her.
Yeah, I think so. A force bubble, or that the force was just not allowing her to drown.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, I think so.
Just for whatever reason, she can breathe water for a few minutes or whatever. I mean, I don't know. It's the force, man. It's weird.
It was light when she got pushed into the water, and it was dark when they found her. So she was definitely under there for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm not entirely sure that she was actually underwater the whole time. Like, I think what happened, some people think that this all happened in her head. I think it actually happened. I'm just not sure if it was like more spiritual or if like her whole body was transferred to the world between worlds. So if it was full body, she may have actually only been underwater for, a few seconds by the time she left.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, she had to float pretty far to get all the way out there. And I think she would have sunk if she was dead.
Yeah.
But like if she was alive, like her head would have been like above the water for most of that time at least.
Yeah. Which, I mean, when they found her, she was underwater, but not too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe just like during the vision, maybe she got like pushed down by the waves or something. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
But not for a long time, maybe.
For sure. Yeah. Let's see. I don't have anything till she wakes up.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Just real quick, I do really like the fact that there is a New Republic Coast Guard.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. And also, like, it looks just like our Coast Guard. Like, literally,
right. Just
aside from the uniform, it's like, jumping out with a cable and swimming down there and rescuing them, loading into what's basically just a helicopter ramp, and then they'll just get going. I like it.
Yeah, for sure. No, so we get our titular Ahsoka the White here, but I really like that it's not just immediately like her clothes change. Like when she wakes up, she's still in her gray clothes, and she puts on the white robe, and then after that, we see her like in the full white outfit. I don't know. I like the kind of transition between the two.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. And like how it takes several scenes and some passage of time before she starts just being completely in the white.
Yeah. And just another once again, she's using Force Echo. That's what I'm trying to say with my words. Really love to see it. I know we kind of talked about the fact that like she was revived by with the daughter's spirit, the light side of the Force. Like she could probably have any Force power, but we also get to see her using the like animal communication Force power.
Yeah, and that's supposed to be a really rare one, but we do know that she had that before.
Oh, she did?
Tales of the Jedi.
Oh,
whenever she's a baby.
Shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, she reaches out to that animal thing. Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about that. Good.
Yeah.
Good pull, Tug.
Pulled it out of somewhere. I'm not going to say where because this is family friendly, but it came from somewhere.
And then really, do you have anything here before we see our Purgles? No,
really, pretty much the Purgles are my last point.
Great, go ahead.
Well, the point I'm going to make is like the very end of the episode. So
gotcha.
It's all good.
Gotcha. No, I love how she, connects to the Purgles. I love that she's a lot less stiff. I 100% think that like she has forgiven Anakin, she's forgiven herself, like we were talking about, and it's like a weight has been lifted off her shoulders, and she's a lot more whimsical, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And the line I wanted to point out was, they get into the Purgle's mouth, and Huang, they're talking about it, and she's like, I don't know if this is going to the right place, but it's going somewhere. Better to go somewhere than nowhere.
Yep, which that is also just such a not Ahsoka thing.
Yeah.
But it's one thing that it really reminds me of is just an old experienced Jedi. Like that's just something that like Yoda would say.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that character development. Even though it's in such a short time, we can see why. I mean, she's learned a lot from from this Force vision that she had. So,
for sure. And really, just I love seeing Purgles. I think that's my last note. The Purgles are awesome.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Actually, it was Nicole's first time seeing the Purgles.
Oh,
she was shocked. It was pretty funny. She was like, "Are those whales?" I was like, "Yeah, they're hyperspace whales." She was like, "What?" And she's like, "Why do they have tentacles?" I'm like, "I don't know."
to go through hyperspace.
Yeah, they're baller, man. Just get over it. I don't
Look, their suction cups glow up.
Yep. But really the only note I had about the Purgles, and really the last note that I have is I like that this is the direction the story went. I like it because it's going to change up what we thought beforehand, that they're going to have to come back. Instead, Ahsoka's going to get to go there.
Yeah.
Which I think will create a lot more plot tension, and I think will be a lot more fun for the series. So I'm very excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, when they go into the mouth of the whale, have you seen the VeggieTales Jonah movie?
I have. Uh-huh.
Have you heard that song at the end that's by the Newsboys?
Uh-huh.
And it's like, I'm highly nutritious here in the belly of a whale. I really wanted that song to start playing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, is that all you had, my friend?
Yeah, just my silly last note.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to the Newsboys and also VeggieTales. Sponsor us.
Please sponsor us, VeggieTales. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. If you want to be a part of this conversation or you have any questions you'd like us to answer, you can email us at animalsquadron@gmail.com. Again, that is animalsquadron@gmail.com, and we will answer that live in a future episode. And if you could leave us a review wherever you're listening, that would be great. Really helps out the podcast. And If you're on Spotify, the question of the week, as, just very simple, what did you think of Ahsoka Episode 5? Thank you again for listening, and for the Animal Squadron. This has been Mother Goose.
And Lowtech Tech.
Goodbye, everybody!
Adios.